Good evening and welcome to Metro Focus. I'm Jenna Flanagan. On Tuesday, former state Senate Majority Leader Dean Skelos and his son Adam were found guilty again during retrial on all charges against them, including bribery, extortion, and fraud. Skelos was accused of using his political power to pressure business executives to pay his son about $300,000 for no-show jobs in exchange for favorable legislation in Albany. This is now the fourth major corruption conviction in New York State politics so far this year, and there are still more trials in play. Joining me now is Jennifer Rogers, a former federal prosecutor and the current executive director of the Center for the Advancement of Public Integrity at Columbia Law School. Jennifer, welcome back to the program.
Thanks for having me.
So first, I just want to start with getting your reaction to this second conviction for Dean Skelos.
I'm not surprised. I expected them to be convicted again. The proof is basically exactly the same as it was the first time around, a little bit different in the jury instructions because of the reason it was overturned, the McDonald case, but I'm not surprised that they were convicted the second time.
And just for anybody who might be confused as to why there was a second conviction, just tell us very quickly why the definition of public corruption or how it got changed.
So the U.S. Supreme Court came down with a decision a couple years ago after the Skelos trial, and that Supreme Court case narrowed the definition of bribery. And so they had to change the jury instructions. The jury had been improperly instructed the first time, so they had to do it again.
All right, so now I really want to get into the issue of corruption from Albany, because this seems like a very pervasive problem. If we're just dealing with the elected officials, of course, right before this, there was Sheldon Silver, who was the Speaker of the Assembly. But when it comes to even people in the state Senate, prior to Dean Skelos, we had Malcolm Smith, who was convicted of a felony. Prior to that, we had Joe Bruno, who was at least indicted on charges and wasn't convicted on a technicality. But it just seems like constantly Albany breeds criminals.
It's a real problem. It's been a problem for years, and I don't see it getting appreciably better until we can do a couple of things. One is to increase the disclosures that legislators have to make about their income and their assets and so on, so that those can be poured over and cases brought from them, and that's also, of course, a deterrent. And the second thing that we need is just stricter laws. I mean, they need to pass better laws to fight this kind of corruption. The legislature and the governor are not so willing to move in that direction.
And of course, we've seen everything from the Moreland Commission to various different ethics reforms bill. They come up, and of course, the usual thing that comes out of Albany as well. We wrote the legislation, but so-and-so didn't bring it to the floor. Well, I brought it to the floor, but so-and-so didn't want to vote on it. Well, they didn't vote on it, so I couldn't sign it. Where does the buck stop?
Well, there are two places. One is, of course, with the legislature, who has the power to pass these laws. And as you mentioned, there's a lot of finger pointing going on there about why things are not getting passed. And then with the governor, he is the one who really has a lot of power in these negotiations over the budget. He's the one that really could push the legislature, if it were his top priority, to get these ethics reforms through.
Well, I'm glad you brought up the governor, because in addition to these convictions that we're seeing of elected officials, we also saw the convictions of people who were very close to the governor with Joe Percoco and Mr. Caballeros. How is it that so many people in his orbit are now convicted felons?
So the reason is that we don't have tight enough oversight of the money in the state, the procurement processes, and the governor has the power to change those things. He can change how procurement is done in the executive agencies of the state. He can push the legislature to pass laws to make it harder to steal money from the state. And that's where you see these problems with money going out, like in the case of Caballeros, the bid rigging scheme. And with Joe Percoco, it's an outside income problem. Again, people taking outside income in addition to their salaries, it's not being properly reported, and they're not supposed to be getting it in the first place. So if we tighten up all of those procedures and make it more restrictive, we'll have better results.
Does any of this responsibility fall on the shoulders of the voters? Because as we've seen, this has been an ongoing problem for years. This is not new. And we've also seen a lack of willingness on the part of the state legislature to actually move and make some concrete changes.
I do think it's the responsibility of all citizens to push for clean government. So not only should citizens be voting for people who will push through these ethics reform and who will act ethically when they're in office, but they should be calling upon the governor and others to make this a priority. I mean, there's no reason the governor is going to make ethics reform his #1 priority if the people don't make him do so. So I do think citizens should get more active in the way you suggest.
Well, we are, of course, in an election year, and it raises the question of how much of a problem or a distraction do these cases create. I've spoken to some reporters out of Albany, and they've said that they're not necessarily sure how close the public is paying attention to all of this with the trials and the convictions and the corruption, et cetera.
Yeah, you know, it's an ongoing problem. The public, when they're polled, says that corruption is a big problem. They do think government is corrupt, and they say in theory that they want clean government. But like our elected officials and like our governor, they have other priorities too. I mean, currently Cynthia Nixon seems to be pushing MTA more than any other issue. You know, the subways are a problem. So until people say we want clean government, that is our #1 priority, and we demand that, I feel like it's not really going to happen.
Well, given everything that we've seen happen so far with indictments and corruption and convictions, et cetera, are there any other cases that might be on the horizon that we should keep an eye out for?
Well, in New York State, we still have a retrial coming of Norman Seabrook, who was the head of the Police Benevolent Association on a corruption charge out of the Southern District. As for other legislators that they're looking at, I don't know. We'll have to wait and see how that pans out. I do know that Southern District is very busy with some more national cases, like the Michael Cohen case and other things. But you know, there's no shortage of corruption here in New York, so I'm sure we'll be seeing more charges soon.
All right, well, listen, Jennifer Rogers, I want to thank you so much for joining us on the program. Of course, your perspective is definitely very well useful for us and welcome to have, and we'd love to have you back.
Thank you.
Thank you.